It's common knowledge that the global population is expanding at a frightening rate, and that women account for a large share of that growth. But have you ever pondered where there are the most women in the world? Well, then you have come to the right place. We got the answers for you. Hello and welcome to our channel. Today we're going to talk about the top 10 countries with the highest female population in the world. So let us begin. 1. Armenia. A country with a long and storied history, endured many hardships in the 20th century. Wars with their neighbors and Soviet rule did not help matters. The lack of men in Armenia is a direct result of the Armenian genocide that occurred during and after World War I. About 1.5 million Armenians were slaughtered in mass executions or forced marches across the Syrian desert, while their country was still ruled by the Turkish Ottoman Empire. The methodical and well-planned nature of the killings required the development of the term genocide. The majority of the casualties were likely men, according to the available records. Women now make up around 55% of the population. Throughout Armenia's history and culture, women have played crucial roles. 2. Russia. Due in great part to the country's troubled past, women now make up just over 53% of Russia's population. Many Russian men died in fighting during World War II. Because of this, there are now more women than men in the country. The life expectancy of Russian women is higher than that of Russian men, which also helps explain why they make up a larger portion of the population. Russia has a higher ratio of women than men, yet the country still has problems with gender inequality. Both workplace discrimination against women and domestic violence are serious issues in the country. A law that decriminalizes certain types of domestic abuse was introduced in 2017 as part of an effort to address these problems. Gender roles in Russian culture are also very distinct. Despite the fact that women are more commonly associated with housework, they are more prominent in male-dominated professions like science, technology, and politics. Catherine the Great, who ruled Russia in the 18th century, is only one example of the many influential women who have played key roles in Russian history. 3. Ukraine. As the conflict in Ukraine escalates and civilian losses soar, the gender disparity that already exists there is only expected to widen. Despite the present war between Russia and Ukraine, the low number of men in modern Ukraine has been a problem for a long time. Many historians concur that the male population of Ukraine was so severely impacted by the Second World War that it has not yet returned to its pre-1941 levels. This tendency is not going to change anytime soon if the conflict between Russia and Ukraine continues. Ukraine presently has a higher proportion of women than many other European countries. Ukrainian women have contributed greatly to the development of the country's culture and history. Lesia Ukrainka, a poet and writer widely regarded as one of the most significant personalities in Ukrainian literature, is just one example of the many accomplished Ukrainian women who have contributed to the country's politics, academia, and the arts. 4. Belarus. One of Eastern Europe's worst tales, Belarus is still suffering the scars of its past. During World War II, the territory that is now Belarus was completely devastated due to its proximity to Nazi Germany. The conflict in Belarus resulted in the most per capita casualties, with over a quarter of the whole population losing their lives. Belarus, the last remaining real dictatorship in Europe, is one of the continent's poorest countries. The level of living is low, and job opportunities are limited. Many young men have been motivated by this to seek refuge in other regions of Europe. Belarus's rapid economic and social growth can be directly attributed to the country's abundance of female workers. Women have always played an important role in the labor field, but it was during the Soviet era that women were actively pushed to do so. Women in Belarus continue to be highly educated and skilled. They hold a disproportionate number of executive and managerial positions in the country. Women's rights movements, which promote gender parity and female autonomy, have also flourished in countries with a disproportionately large female population. 5. Latvia. A small European country on the Baltic Sea, has the world's second highest female-to-male population ratio. The majority of men in this region are at risk for a variety of risks that they create for themselves, which accounts for the gender gap. The prevalence of heavy drinking and smoking is significantly higher among Latvian men. Heart disease, cancer, and other illnesses are only some of the many that can be exacerbated by these habits. The average life expectancy in Latvia is 68 years for males and 78 for women. Also, men have a far greater suicide rate than women do. But that is a trend that is followed worldwide, and it's something that really needs to be addressed. 6. Lithuania. Males in Lithuania, like their Latvian neighbors, engage in similarly damaging activity. Men in this country are at a significantly greater risk for alcohol misuse and tobacco usage. More than a third of adult males in Lithuania smoke cigarettes regularly, and many more do so on an occasional basis. Health officials in Lithuania have made it a priority to discourage cigarette use. Young, capable men in Lithuania, like their counterparts in Nepal, are moving for more promising opportunities in other European countries like Germany and England. Currently, the ratio stands at 52.98%. Lithuania takes great pleasure in its unusually high proportion of women in the total population. Strong, resilient, and determined Lithuanian women have made their mark in many disciplines, including athletics, business, politics, and the arts. In reality, our country has produced a large number of influential women in a variety of disciplines. Women in Lithuania have shattered barriers and show that gender is not an obstacle to achievement at every level of society, from being the first female president in Central Europe to being internationally famous artists and writers. 7. Georgia. With only 3.7 million people, Georgia is a very small country. About 52.98% of those are women, while 47.02% are men. With a lengthy history of struggling for independence from more powerful neighbors like Russia and Turkey, Georgia has earned its place as one of the world's oldest Christian states. Moreover, many males are prompted to leave the country in search of better economic prospects. The only true explanation for the gender gap in terms of absolute numbers is death. 8. Hong Kong. The high percentage of women in Hong Kong's population is indicative of the city's forward-thinking and welcoming ethos, rather than a statistical quirk. The high level of education and professional performance among Hong Kong's female population is a direct result of their long-standing access to the same legal protections and economic opportunities as their male counterparts. Women are prominent leaders in many facets of Hong Kong's economy, helping to propel the city to the top of global lists measuring gender equality. Because of this, the city has become more culturally rich and vibrant, and its economy has thrived. In addition, women in Hong Kong's population are crucial in creating the city's distinctive character and way of life. Women have played a crucial role in conserving and promoting Hong Kong's diverse cultural traditions, from traditional crafts to contemporary art. The literary, musical, and cinematic accomplishments of women in Hong Kong have left an unmistakable impression on the city's cultural history. 9. Aruba. Sunshine, blue ocean, and white sand beaches are what makes Aruba a Caribbean beauty. A surprising demographic fact about this small island nation is that it has one of the largest female populations in the world, a fact that often goes unreported. Aruba is a living tribute to the strength and perseverance of its women, who make up more than 51% of the population. Women in Aruba are not only well-educated and involved in the workforce, but they also make important contributions to the island's economy and way of life. The beautiful women of Aruba will greet you with their warmth, vitality, and spirit as you discover the island's spectacular natural treasures and enjoy its exquisite food. 10. Virgin Islands. The Virgin Islands are a cultural and natural treasure in the Caribbean, boasting some of the Caribbean's cleanest beaches and clearest waters. Did you also know that it boasts one of the world's largest percentages of women? Women make up nearly 53% of the population, making the Virgin Islands a matriarchal society in which they wield considerable power. The women of the Virgin Islands are influencing every aspect of society, from politics and business to the arts and music. So that is all the time we had today, folks. Which countries did you think would make it on the list? Let us know in the comments below. Oh, and do not forget to subscribe to our channel and do hit the bell icon on your way out. See you all next time.